Hi, welcome to another episode of Book Covers DIY. Today I'm going to show you how to design a cover for a Christmas cozy murder mystery, but it will actually work for any cozy murder mystery. So let's get started. So here we are on Canva.com. This is that free design website we use for all of our book covers. Today I'm going to be working on an ebook cover. If you are in need of a print book cover, you can still watch today's tutorial and then click the link in the description box below that will take you to my print book cover tutorial. In that video, I'll show you how to calculate the dimensions for your book, design the spine, and back cover as well. So make sure to click the link after watching today's tutorial. Okay, so here we are on our home page. Right here in the middle, you should be able to find the book cover template. If not, you can always come up to the top and type in book cover. It's going to take you to the book cover templates page where there are currently 4,717 book cover templates. You can scroll through here and find one you like, then customize it with your own wording and colors. But for today's book cover, I'm going to come right back up to the top and click on create a blank book cover because I'm going to show you how to design one from scratch. So here we are in our design area. Everything on the right is where we'll be designing, and here on the left we have our toolbar and our toolbox. I always like to start with a photo or a graphic of some kind that sort of sets the tone for the whole book cover, including the font and color scheme. Today I might start with a graphic, so let's come over to elements. This is our second option here. And since we are creating a cozy murder mystery, from what I've seen on Amazon, there are a ton of cozy murder mysteries that happen in cottages. I don't know why. A lot of them are happening in English cottages. So I thought today we'll look for a cute little cottage. So I'm just going to type in cottage. Alright, and so we have some options here. We have graphics and photos. Today I'm going to stick with graphics because that's what I'm seeing a lot of on Amazon. We have Christmas coming right around the corner, so I specifically want a sort of Christmas theme cottage. So let me type in maybe a Christmas, let's see if there's a Christmas cottage. If not, we'll look for a Christmas cabin. Okay, so here we have quite a few choices again. And as you can see in our choices, we do have some with a crown, and when you hover over the crown it says Pro. That means that these options are available with Canva Pro. This is the paid version. If you would like to filter those out, you can come up here to the search bar and click on the three lines. You can come down to the bottom under price and click on free, and then click off to the side. Now you can see that all of the paid options have been filtered out, and now you only have free selections here, which we have quite a few to choose from. I have the Pro version, so I'm going to uncheck that. And now I'm just going to scroll through here and look for one I like. This is a cute one. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to click on a few just to kind of see what they look like over here on my design, give me some idea. Okay, I think I like, let's see, let me get rid of this one. I'm just going to click on the little trash can. I'm going to click on this watercolor one, delete that. Okay, so between these two, I like this one here. I don't really care for the triangle shape of this one, so I'm going to click on the second one and delete it. And I like this one right here. Okay, so we have our Christmas cabin, and right now I'm just going to grab the corner and stretch it out. So now that we have our main image or graphic, now we can select a color for our background. I want to change the color from just plain white, so I'm going to come over here to this rainbow box. That is our background color. When you click in there, you're going to get a bunch of color palettes. At the very bottom are your default colors. Ignore this top section, that's my branding kit colors. But right below that, it says photo colors. And so Canva does this really cool thing. Anytime you select a photo or upload one of your own photos, it creates a color palette from that photo. So you can see here, this is the blue that's in the snow. There's a green that's in the trees, the red of the cabin, a lighter green, grayish green that's sort of in the trees as well, and this sort of brownish rust color that is on the door, it looks like. So if you want, you can actually go and select any one of those colors. For instance, I wouldn't choose this color, but I just want to show you. When I click on this rust, the whole background changes to that color. Same thing with the gray. That's kind of a nice gray. There's the red, but of course it washes out the cabin. Same with the green. So I'm wanting to stick with this ice blue color to give that feeling of the snow or the cold. Now, if you don't want any of these colors, you can come up here to the top where it says Document Colors. If you click on the rainbow box with the plus, you're going to get some color sliders. Here is where you can pick any color of the rainbow. As you can see, I'm sliding, it's changing to purple, the pink, green, yellow. So once you have selected one of the main, colors of the rainbow, then you can come up here to the shade selector, and you can see as I slide it along, it's changing darker, lighter, more purple, more magenta, all the way to hot pink. So you can customize your color here if you like. There's something else you can do is you can take this eyedropper tool and place it over any part of your photo and the background will match. So right now I'm going to place it over the red of the house and you can see a change. Click it again, and this time let's do it on the tree. That was the darker part of the tree. And you can see there's all different pixels within the tree. So that was the darker part, and if I put it on maybe the highlighted part of the tree, see it changes to a lighter green. Okay, I'm going to see about, let's see what it looks like on the snow. That's a little bit too white. Okay, so I'm going to go back down to this ice blue that was in the existing color palette down here. I really like that. It gives it a nice look and feel. One thing I forgot to tell you is if you did not find a graphic or a photo you liked here in Canva, you can always try two sites. There's one called pixabay.com, and there you can also search for, let's say, Christmas cabin. And here you will get a variety of photos and graphics. If you want to filter out the photos, you can come back up here to your search bar, and where it says all images, you can click on vectors or illustrations. Let me click on illustrations, and you can see it filtered out all the photos and you're left with illustrations only. There's another site. This one is photos only. Well, it's actually photos and videos, but it doesn't have like graphics. This one is called pexels.com. It's like pixels but with an E. So let's do the same. Look for Christmas cabin. Again, this one is probably going to just be only photos, specifically photos, as you can see here. Another option you have is to use all of the new, AI tools, text to image, where you can custom design your own winter scene or Christmas cabin. Or you could have someone illustrate it for you, or you can illustrate yourself if you're an artist. If you have an existing photo or a photo from another site and you want to bring that in, the way to do that is to come over here to your toolbar, click on Uploads, and it's going to take you to your photo library. These are all the photos that I've imported into Canva. If you were bringing a photo in, you can go to Upload Files and then search on your computer for a photo. You would just click on the photo and then click Open. It would import it into your library, and then you can click on it and it will appear over here. So that's if you have a photo in your own files or are importing it. But I wanted to make it super simple for us today. That's why I just stuck with finding a photo here within Canva. Okay, so now we have our main graphic and then we have our background color to match. I want to also, let's see about adding some snow to this. So I'm just going to, again, while I'm still in the Elements tab, type in snow. I'm going to go under the graphics. As you can see right here, some of them are animated. That one is actually falling snow. These snowflakes are animated. I want to get rid of those in my results. So I'm going to come back up to this filter selection and I'm going to go down to animation. I want to click on static. I only want the static images, and I'm going to click off to the side. And so now you can see it has filtered out all of the animated results. Okay, so now I'm just going to try out some of this snow and see if I like any. I'm just bringing it up to the corner and then I'm grabbing the other corner and stretching it out. I like this, but it seems a little bit too small. I'm going to delete that one. There's another one here. I'm going to again bring it up to the corner and stretch it out. Oh, I kind of like that one. That one's a good size. Okay, I'm going to put that down here for a second. And then I want to try out this one. I think this one has a little bit too much. It's almost like a blizzard. I kind of like the way this one is spaced out. Let's try this one here. And then this one is just the opposite. I think this one is too sparse. So I think I'm going to go with this one that I've already chosen down here. I'm just going to bring that back up. And let's see, do I want the snow to go all the way down or stop it right there? You can see I'm just going to center it. You know it's centered when the center solid line appears. Okay, so we have our snow and our background. The cabin you chose or the cottage you choose does not have snow on the ground. As you can see here, there are some, let me click on that one. If you brought in a cabin, you could use one of their designs and then place your cabin on top of it. So don't think that you have to specifically find a cabin with a snowy ground. For instance, here's one here without a snowy ground. You could easily place it on top of one of these backgrounds. Okay, so now we have, looks like our main graphic and our snow and everything. Let's go ahead and add some text to this design. So I'm going to come over here to our toolbar and click on the third option, which is text. And it's going to bring us over to our title designs. There are some pre-made titles down here. Some have the crown and some don't. You can select one of those to start with and change up the wording. I'm just going to come to the top and click on add a heading because I like to create one from scratch. I'm going to bring it up here for now. Let's see, we're going to call this, all of the, I noticed all of them were like murder at something something. Murder at the English cottage. Maybe we'll call this one murder at the Christmas cottage. So the first word I want to start with actually is Christmas because I want to get like a fancy Christmas font. So I typed in Christmas and then now I need to choose a font. Please do not leave your font as this plain Canva Sans. Look how bad that looks. I'm going to click on the word Christmas and then I'm going to come over here to Canva Sans. When I click on the down arrow, I'm going to get all of our different font choices. Some of them have the crown. Those are available with Canva Pro, but there are many to choose from that are free. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go through here and try to find, I think I want a cursive font, kind of a fancy swirly cursive font actually for the word Christmas. Something similar to that, but I don't think that one. So I'm just going to check through here and find one that I like. Okay, I like this one here. This one is called Parisienne. It's nice and fancy and swirly, but you can still read it. And that's extremely important. Okay, so now that I have chosen my font, I want to go ahead and change the color. I don't want to leave it as plain black. While the text box is still selected, I'm going to come up here to this A with a rainbow bar beneath it. That is your text color. If you click in there, now you're going to go back to your color palettes. Right now, these are the colors we currently have in our design. So we have the blue of the background and then the black of the font and then plain white because that's what we originally started with. I'm actually going to go back down here to our photo colors. I think I'm going to go with this red. This is the red that we have in our cabin. So now I'm seeing that I'm going to need to move my scene down if I'm going to fit the whole title. So I'm going to go ahead and click on, I think that's the snow. Let me move the snow over just a second. I want to bring my cabin down, maybe right about there. And then now I'm going to bring my snow back. I probably need to expand the snow. And then now I'm going to bring Christmas down slightly. Okay, I might have to make it a little bit smaller as well. There are ways to do that. I can either just grab the corner and drag it in. I can come up here to the font numbers and choose a different number, or I can use the plus and minus buttons. I like to just grab the corner and stretch it. Maybe right about there for right now. Okay, so we have Christmas. Again, I wanted to say murder at the Christmas cottage. Murder, I'm going to probably put in a different font, but cottage, I want it to match this font here. So I can either come over here, click on add a heading and everything all over again, but there's a much easier way. All you have to do is click on the existing text box and then come up here to this little toolbar and click the first selection that says duplicate. When you click that, you're going to get a copy of that first one. Then all you have to do is click in there and backspace and type your second word. All right, see how easy that was? Okay, so now it says Christmas Cottage. I'm going to slide this one over here and maybe this one over here for right now. So now we need another text box for the word murder. I'm not going to use this fancy Parisian font. I'm going to use something different. So I'm going to go ahead and just come back over here to add a heading. And I'm going to get another text box. This one is going to default to that same red we already used. So you can always change it or leave it as is. Right now I'm just going to focus on the word. I'm thinking I'm going to enter murder in all caps because I want it to be slightly different than this. Again, do not leave your word as Canva sans. Guys, look at that. That is really bad. And I cannot tell you how often I see a font like that. It's the #1 tell that you created your book cover yourself, and it's very unprofessional. Do not leave it like that. I'm sorry, that's like my huge pet peeve, is seeing font like that on book cover designs. Okay, so let's come over here to Canva Sans. We're going to click on it, and this time I want to find like a block font, something big and bold like that. That one's a little too skinny, but you know what I mean. You get the idea. Something that's going to definitely stand out. All right, so I'm just going to go through here and try to find one that I like. Okay, I think I like this one. I love the way it's big and bold, and it's a little bit fancy. So let me bring these two down. I can move them at the same time if I group them together. Okay, so I'm going to click on Christmas. I'm going to hold down Shift and then click on Cottage. So you can see both of the text boxes are in a dotted line box, and now I can move them together. If I wanted to, I can click on Group, and now they are in a solid box, and I can move them around together. I can always ungroup them. Right now I'm going to place them right about here. Okay, so now we need to add at the. I can either come over here and choose another text box, but I don't want to have 3 fonts. So I'm just going to stick with this top font right here. So what I'm going to do is click on the word murder, and then I'm going to click on duplicate, and we're going to get a copy of it. I'm going to change this to say at the, but in lowercase, all lowercase. And then I'm going to make it much smaller, maybe right about there. And I want to change the color because we have all this red. Let's click on the text color, and let's try this green right here. There's a gray. Okay, no, we're going to go with this green. This is the same green you can see in the trees here. So now I'm just going to center that. You can tell it's centered when the solid line appears. I might bring this up. And we probably need to bring Christmas Cottage up slightly. Now, if you want to make sure everything is centered, you can click on each text box while holding down Shift. So I clicked on Murder, holding down Shift, clicking on At the, and holding down Shift and clicking on Christmas Cottage. And then I'm going to come up here to Position. Make sure you're on the Arrange tab. There's 2 tabs here, Arrange and Layers. And if it's already centered, center will be grayed out. Let me show you if I had them kind of moved around and I wanted to center them all. I would click on each text box while holding down Shift. Again, go back up to Position, Arrange, and you can see now it is not grayed out because they are not centered. But watch the text boxes when I click on Center. They're all going to line up. Okay, and so that is a quick way to make sure all of your text boxes are aligned. If you wanted them aligned left, you would do the same there, or to the right, but I want them centered for this design. So let's go ahead and add the author name right now while we're still in the text area. So I'm going to click on At the, and I'm going to duplicate that, and I guess bring it down here. Since we have all of that wording up there, we probably want to put the author name down here. Let's think of a fake author name. Okay, instead of Joanne Fluke, Luann, let's say Luann Duke. Okay, so the name of our fake author is Luann Duke. I'm going to make this smaller just by dragging it in. And let's see, for this one I'm going to go ahead and keep it centered. Probably right about there. Okay, so there was another thing I kept seeing on all of the cozy murder mystery books on Amazon was they tend to have a dog or a cat on the cover. So I think let's see about, I would think adding a dog. Okay, so I'm going to come over here to Elements, and I'm going to clear snow because that was our last search, and just going to type in dog. Okay, and let's see, we don't want a real dog. We want to go stick with our graphics, so I'm going to click in there. Now let's just find a couple of dogs that we might like to see. Okay, there's one here. I'm gonna make them smaller. Let's pick a few and find one. Oh, I like this one. Is this like a Saint Bernard? That's like perfect for a snow scene. Let's see what else. Okay, you can see some of them are animated. The tail's wagging on these two. You can always filter those out. Oh, this one's a nice one too. Okay, so let me see of these which one looks best in our photo. This one's going to blend in too much. The colors are too muted. I'm going to get rid of that dog. So it's either between the, I guess this is a husky, and I would assume this might be a Saint Bernard. I'm trying to see which one will look good in this scene. Okay, I think the husky is also blending in too much with the background because of the light color, so I'm going to stick with this. I guess it's like a Saint Bernard and put it right about there. Click off to the side. Okay, so we have our obligatory dog for our story. So now I want to add something else to indicate that this is, other than the word, murder, I want to indicate that this is maybe a crime scene. So we could like add crime scene tape or something like that. So let's clear this, and I'm just going to type in crime. I'm still under the Elements tab. And here we are in graphics. I'm going to click on See All. So let's see, we could add some crime scene tape if we wanted. I don't know if I want to add that. I just want to see how that looks. If we put it across the Christmas cottage. No, I don't want that. I'm going to delete that. I'm going to keep looking. Maybe a chalk outline. Maybe I need to put crime scene. Oops, I didn't space that properly. Okay, crime scene. Okay, I like this one here. So I'm going to click on this one, and we have our little chalk outline guy. It's way too big. So let's make it smaller, and yes, see, there are color boxes, which means I am able to customize the color. Sometimes you'll get a graphic that you can't. For instance, let's see. Let me click on this one just so you can see. Okay, so see this one here with the hand and the knife? There are no color boxes, meaning you cannot customize the color. So sometimes you will get some graphics that you cannot customize, but this one I can. So right now it is gray. I'm going to change that. Okay, there's jet black. I think that's going to stand out way too much. Let's see. Here's a green. You know what? I want it to be the black or this charcoal that's in the dog's coat. So I'm going to come up here to add a new color, take the eyedropper tool and place it over the dog's fur. Okay, so now we have sort of a charcoal color, and then I think this red is pretty similar to what we already have, but I'm going to click on the red and just select the color that's in our photo palette right here. Yeah, I didn't think it changed. Okay, so we're going to put this little outline here. Maybe the sled ran over the guy or something like that. So now we know for sure that this is sort of a crime scene without having to add the crime scene tape. And let's see, this dog might be a little bit too big if he's bigger than the man. I wonder if we can add something on that sign. I'm going to zoom in. Let's see if we can add some words to this sign. Okay, so I'm going to come over here to text. And let's go to the third option, add a little bit of body text, and wow. So let's see. Let's write Christmas Village. It's way too big. We need to fit it on this sign. So, okay, we still need to make it smaller. I'm going to shrink it in. You'll also notice there is a large gap. Let me slide over. Between Christmas and Village. To fix that, we can come up here to these three lines with an up and down arrow. That is your spacing. Letter spacing is a space between the letters. That is perfectly fine. We don't need to adjust that. But line spacing is the space between these two rows. So watch, I'm going to increase that and they get further apart. And then I want to decrease it right about there. Okay, now we need to change the font. Let's see, what do we already have? If you come to the top, it says document fonts. These are all the fonts you currently have on your design. Let me try this bright retro. Okay, I'm going to stick with that. I like that one. But we need to change it, the color. You can't see it too well. Let's come up to text color and let's see. we stick with that. And again, the gap is still too large now that we changed the font, so let's go to spacing again and bring them even closer together. And I also want to add a shadow to the words so they can stand out better. I'm going to click on the words and come up here to effects. We're going to get new tools in our toolbox. I'm going to use shadow, and then it defaults to the same color you're using, but we want to change that to, let's just go down to pure black. And you can see here that now they stand out. But I want to increase the transparency all the way to 100. Maybe we'll move the dog over to this side in front of the tree. And then let's zoom back in. Let's duplicate that Christmas village. Bring the word down. And let's change this to say killer. And we're going to bring it back on the arrow. You'll see there's a circle with 2 rounded arrows. If you move that, that's going to pivot the word. So we want to pivot it slightly at an angle to match the arrow. So that one says killer. And then we're going to duplicate that again. And then we're going to bring that down here. And we're going to write victim. And now we're going to grab the pivot and pivot it this way. Okay, I want to make the Christmas village slightly larger so you can see it. Okay, now let's see. I want to zoom out again. So it's showing that the victim is over here and the killer went that way. Okay, now we need to add, like, maybe let's look for some holly leaves or something. I'm going to go to elements and I'm going to type in holly, maybe a little wreath or something. Let's try out this one here on magic recommendations. Again, it's way too big, so we're going to have to shrink it way down. And let's put it on the top of our sign. Okay, let's zoom out. Let's go back to holly, graphics, and this one here. I just want to fill in this gap right here between Christmas and cottage. And again, I'm going to take the little pivot and pivot it slightly and bring it down. Okay, so let me zoom out and see how that looks. We have that little teeny tiny wreath on the Christmas village. I think I want to add a wreath to the door. So let's just click on that same wreath and I'm going to shrink it down. Just kind of decorate our little cabin here a little bit better so it doesn't look so plain, and so we know that this is a Christmas cottage like it says. I think these minor details just really add to your book cover and help it to look more professional. I'm debating whether I want to add some Christmas garland on these other windows here to just kind of dress them up. Maybe like, well, look, let's try this garland here. See how that looks. Okay, so there's some garland. Let's see. There's also some lights. Okay, well, you can see that when I selected these lights, we got some magic recommendations down here. Whenever you choose a graphic, and if there are similar graphics, you'll get a magic recommendations box. You can click on see all, and you're going to get the other varieties of that. So let me actually try one of these. Okay, I like these here. They're just kind of 2 loose hanging strands of lights. We can click on this garland, and let's adjust the colors to match with the tree. So let's go down to our photo colors and make sure that all of our garland. We can do the same thing with our wreath. If we click on our wreath, and let's just make sure that green is from our photo so you can see it matches, and then let's change the red to match our red, and you can see it sort of brightened up slightly. Okay, so you can see now everything is cohesive and it matches. All right, I think we are almost done. Oh, we do need to bring our snow to the top level or the top layer. Okay, so we're going to click on the snow, or really you can click on actually any layer in your design. You're going to click on position. It's going to take you to the arrange tab. You're going to want to click on layers. And here is where you're going to see all the layers in your design. You can see all of these of what we have used to create our design. If you scroll way down, you can see our 3rd layer was the snow. You can't really see it. It just looks like it's blank. So we are going to take the snow layer and drag it all the way up to the top. We want it to be the top layer, right? And then I want to slightly move it over because one of these snowflakes is covering our victim here. So I'm going to slide that over. All right, so we move the snow over so that snow is not blocking the words or the victim here. Okay, and everything looks good. Make sure the Author name is centered. All right, I think this looks great. It looks like we're done with the design. But as always, I would like to show you how to make a second version really quickly using everything in the first design. And to do that, you would think you would click on add a page, but no, if you click add a page, you're going to get a second page with just the same color background. You don't want to do that unless you want to start all over from scratch with the design and everything. I'm going to click on delete page, a little trash can, and it brings us back to the first page, our book cover. What I want to do is I want to duplicate everything I did here so that I can just change it slightly. The way to do that is you come up to the top right of your design and the center icon says duplicate page. If you click on there, you're going to get a second page. See right here, it says page 2. Scroll up, there's page 1. This is our original design. We don't want to mess with that at all. We just want to come down to page 2 and we're going to make some changes in this one just so we can have a second version. And if you have your followers, your readers, this is a great way to get them involved and excited about your upcoming book release. If you have 2 versions, you can post it on social media and have them vote on your final book cover design. They love being involved and they're going to especially love being able to help you decide on your final book cover. So here we are on page 2, and now let's just make a few adjustments. Okay, the first thing I want to do is I definitely want to attach all of the stuff to the house or to the cabin before I make any size changes, size adjustments. So just click on anything in your design, and again we're going to go to that position tab over here. Make sure you're on layers. Okay, before we do that, the holly is not part of the house, so I'm going to actually move it up here because it's up here with the word. So I'm going to drag the holly up here. Okay, so now let's go back down. Everything with the house. So we want to select the house. Once we have selected the cabin, we're going to hold down Shift, click on the dog, keep holding Shift, click on the chalk outline, both wreaths, the garland, and the Christmas lights. I think that's all that's in the house. Everything else is just the words in the snow. Okay, so while we have all of those items checked, because we want to group them together, we're going to come over here and you can see all of the boxes are selected. We're going to click on group. That way, when we move one thing, like the cabin, the wreath and the garland and the lights are all going to be already attached to it. Otherwise, everything's going to stay put except that, and you're going to have to readjust everything. But now when I stretch the house, everything stretches with it. Oh, except the words on the sign. I did not attach those, so let's do that. Click on your cabin again, or anything, and we're going to click on position. I did need to add these 3 letters for the sign. So let's bring those down. Christmas Village, Victim, and Killer. Okay, so they're right in front of the house now. So click on the house, hold down Shift, click on Killer, Victim, and Christmas Village. So I should have 4 layers selected, and I'm going to group them. Okay, if at any time I want to ungroup them, I can. See the word ungroup here? So now when I stretch the house out large, everything's going to stretch with it too. I'm going to actually move the snow just off to the side right now. So I'm going to move the house up. And I'm just going to bring all these words down. I didn't group those because I might change those. Let's bring the house up. And again, I've made the house larger. Bring these holly berries down too. I'm going to bring the house up till the top of the tree is with the top of the page. I'm going to increase the size again so that the dog's right here on the edge. We can still see our Christmas sign. All right, and then our snow is right here. I'm going to bring our snow back over the scene. Okay, we may adjust that some more in a minute. Okay, so now we need to come down here and work on our title. So here's the word murder. I'm probably going to make it a little bit smaller and center it. Okay, same thing with Christmas Cottage. We need to make that smaller. You know what? Christmas Cottage, I'm going to ungroup it. You remember these were 2 text boxes we grouped together? I'm going to click on ungroup. And then I'm going to get rid of cottage, delete it, and I'm going to put on the same line as Christmas. So click in your Christmas box and type in cottage. It's going to go on the second line, so you're going to have to stretch it. And then we can come up here to adjust the size, or you can drag this in. I'm going to move our author name up here for right now. Bring Christmas Cottage down, center it, and we definitely need to make at the smaller. Okay, I'm thinking I'm wanting to change the font on this one from this Parisian. Let me see what it looks like if I leave it at the same. Okay, I think I'm going to go with this bright retro that we already have as murder. I'm going to make that slightly larger. Okay, yes, I'm definitely going to get rid of these holly and berries. And then maybe I want to add some garland at the bottom. Let's come up here to the author name, which I cannot grab because the snow is on top of it. So I just have to go to position, and then I can click on the name there, and now the box appears. I'm going to make it slightly smaller and put it right about there in this sort of blank space. And again, I want to add something below this. So let's go back here and, okay, we're already on Christmas garland. Maybe something with a bow. Let's see how that looks. Not quite. Almost, but not quite. Okay, and this one we can change the colors. If you can come up here, you can see. Let's change this red to match the red in the photo. This yellow, which is the center. Probably just going to keep that red as well. Let's change the greens because we have more of these like olive greens. Deciding whether I want the snow to come all the way down to the words. Maybe so. Okay, so I'd stretch the snow so it covers all the words, including the ones including the title at the bottom. And now I just need to adjust it so that it's not covering our sign or our author name. And let's make sure it is over everything. So let's go back to position, and no, it's not over everything. So let's drag it to the top. Okay, I think that's it. Let me kind of zoom out. So you can see how quickly we were able to make a whole second version just by adjusting a few things. Okay, so let me show you how we can download both of these and compare them. So first thing we want to do is name our project. So right here in the upper right it says add a heading. We're going to call this Murder at the Christmas Cottage book covers. Okay, and then we're going to come over here to share. You're going to go to download, and it defaults to PDF standard. Since we're not printing, I'm just going to click on PNG. Yes, we want both pages, and download. It's going to download them in a matter of seconds, and it's going to be a zip file because there are two of them. You just have to click on the zip file, then your folder, and here are our two designs. We're going to open each one and compare them side by side. Okay, so here are two book cover designs. We have our crime scene, little cabin scene, smaller, and in the lower part of our book, we have the author name right below that, and then we have all of our title at the top, big and bold. Then we have our little details, our sign that lets us know that the killer went one way, the victim is here, and the killer ran that way. We have our sidekick dog, and then we have our chalk outline, and sort of an idea of what happened, something. Apparently someone ran him over with a sled. Okay, then here on the right we have our second version, which all we did was we increased the size of our cabin scene, brought it to the top. So we have a closer look at the details of what happened. We have our sign here. It's a little bit easier to see. And then here we have all of our wording down here. We changed our font on Christmas Cottage, and we took away our holly leaf and instead added some matching garland at the bottom. So here you have two versions of the same book cover. Again, this is a great way to get your followers involved. You post these on social media and ask them to vote A or B. I do have a video on how to create a social media graphic, a voting graphic that you can post on your Facebook, Instagram, and have them vote. I'll put the link to that video in the description below so you can check that out. And don't forget, if you are making a print book, to go to my print book cover tutorial. There I'll explain how to put your book blurb on the back, as well as design the spine for your book cover. So be sure and check those videos out. So I hope you liked today's tutorial. If you did, please let me know in the comments section below, and feel free to suggest some other book cover styles you'd like to see me create. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell to update you about future videos. So thanks again for watching, liking, and subscribing. Until next time, bye-bye.